Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Spectrum Drama, where we take a look at the hottest posts on Spectrum for the week and give our opinions on them. Sky Stalker, if you're watching, you won our giveaway for last month for the Avenger Titan Victus model. So if you want to claim that, then all you need to do is email us at cryandcowgaming@gmail.com, or preferably jump on our Discord and drop us a message there. If you're not interested in winning the prize, let us know. But if not, we will be re-gifting this on Sunday. So you've got a very limited window, my friend. So also, we will have an announcement coming out at the weekend for another giveaway. So if you want to win some awesome stuff, then yeah, all you've got to do is keep your eyes peeled for that. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to be told of all the giveaways that we're doing. And that is pretty much it, so let's get started. Okay, so first up we've got a post from Darius P, and it says, "Dear CIG, it's time to address Squadron 42 roadmap and current state of the project." So as we discussed over the past couple of weeks, you know, the beta for Squadron 42 really should have been out now. Pretty much. So you know, we're at that point where you know, we're hitting that kind of silence again from when the project was first postponed. So it's kind of, you know, it's a bit worrying when all of a sudden everything goes quiet. And I like the last sentence in this. It says, "It's time to talk about Squadron 42 and tell us where we are. Where are we going and how much longer will it take in your opinion? You don't need high quality, masterfully cut YouTube video for that. Just a webcam and a few honest words." I agree 100%.
Yeah. We've been saying this for weeks now, and this is just another one in the long line of posts that come up on Spectrum about this topic. I think there's going to be... Actually, I think this week there's about 3 posts bringing up the Squadron 42 roadmap and the video. And I think that's just going to be a running theme now until they actually give us something. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing as well, because like we've told you before, you know, we don't pick and choose these, we just pick what's got the most upvotes, and this every week will have the most upvotes because it is what people want, and so people cheer for it, you know. Yeah, I think CIG, I don't know how they can't see what's happening with their fan base, you know what I mean, that you've got this kind of slightly rabid group now that are just saying, come on, we don't care about the quality of the video, we just want to know what you're doing, you know. It's not a lot to ask, I don't think, anyway, in my opinion. Not really, no. If they're going to announce a video, then put a video out. Don't just say, oh, it's not good enough, we'll bring it out soon, and then never tell us, you know, any kind of information about when this video or information or roadmap is ever going to come out. For all we know, they've scrapped the idea and they just haven't bothered telling us. It's entirely possible and probable. It's kind of like it's like if we said, you know, we're going to have a giveaway video coming out on Monday, and then on Tuesday I'll put a post out saying, I made the video but I wasn't quite happy with the cinematics I got out of the game, so we're going to hold off till it's better. No, just tell us what people can win and move on, you know. So yeah, it's just information, and like we said, I think last week or the week before, it's starting to feel like maybe this is an advert rather than an informative video, which is why they want it to look so good. And if it is, I will be pissed, I think. Yeah, you think? I will be. But I thought I'd add, I think, just in case I'm too tired to be pissed. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Cool. So next up, we've got a post from the Moist Noodle. And it says, "Prisons and criminal gameplay now and the immediate future." It's quite a long post. I'm going to try and sort of gist this as best as I can. So generally, Moist Noodle is happy with the current state of the implementation of prisons and kind of how they affect players, not just griefers as people call them, but, you know, criminals, actual criminals who are playing the game, and, you know, they do something wrong, they go to jail. You know, it's a really cool concept, but
there are a couple of issues that Moist Noodle has when it comes to this prison gameplay, which is the two things he's marked out. It's proximity detainment and bounty markers. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, proximity detainment basically means that if you're in the near proximity of a bounty hunter when you die, that's it, you go to jail. We'll cover this one first, actually, before we move on, because bounty markers is another thing which I think we can rant about. But I'll give you a very, very brief rundown of a list that he's got here of all the ways that he's died and gone to prison. So, enter an elevator at Grimhex, instantly die, go to prison. Buy water at Grimhex, get tethered to the spot, die, go to prison. Carefully EVA from a ship to a landing pad, character falls no matter what you do, die, go to prison. Carefully EVA into a ship, die, go to prison. Use a rock in an asteroid belt for cover, explode on invisible geometry, go to prison. This is quite long, but I'm enjoying it. Run down the stairs at Grimhex, character falls, die, go to prison. Enter quantum, exit quantum, be inside another ship, explode, go to prison. Quantum to an outpost, spline into a planet, go to prison. Basically, whatever you do, you're going to die and go to prison. It's hilarious. I love it. But have you had many problems with this? Or we don't really do much criminal stuff, but
no,
you've had problems with prisons.
Oh yeah, I've had the big problems with prisons. Like, I can't get out of them. But luckily, we don't really go into them too much. I know CIG are going for this kind of slightly fun prison gameplay aspect, so that if you do get put in there, then it's not a complete drag and you can kind of do a few things, which is great.
Yeah.
But so far there's not much to do in there yet, and I didn't enjoy it, so I don't want to go in there. The easiest way to not go in there is to not do bad things, and that's kind of the way I go with it. Yeah.
Logical. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, really. You know, you just if you're bored of prison gameplay by now, then be a good boy. I mean, I like the prisons, and I do like the way that they've implemented it. And when it works, because the majority of the times when I've been in there, it's worked. I've had a few times where obviously the mining laser thing doesn't work and other annoyances, but generally it works. I've not had too many problems with constantly going to prison. But I have had one instance where I think we were doing, I want to say it was like the 890 jump mission or something, and I can't remember what happened, but I think somehow I killed someone, but it was an accident in our team, and I ended up, when I died, I went to prison, and I think it was on my own. So, but it was a really short sentence or something daft like that, or a parking violation or something stupid. And I ended up in prison for like 22 minutes or something like that. So it does happen. I've not had it quite as bad as that, but it's good that it works though, and it's one of the first things that they've added that really does kind of work the majority of the time, which is interesting.
Yeah, so all the points he's made there are valid. There's a lot of deaths and a lot of prison time attributed to bugs. But that's the game at the moment. I'm not quite sure what he's aiming to get out of this post, or if he's just kind of trying to vent a little bit. I'm not grasping it. I don't grasp his intent with this post.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. There's bugs, and for someone who's doing criminal gameplay, you're going to end up in prison a lot of times. You're just going to have to accept that for now and get on with the game if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the nail on the head there. I mean, if you're not doing criminal activities, then these bugs shouldn't affect you because you won't have a crime stat to begin with. But if you've got a crime stat, you're doing naughty things, and you bug out and die, you're probably going to end up in prison, because the game really at the minute can't tell the difference between, dying because of your bounty and dying because of an elevator, I think.
Yeah. Basically. It's a common problem across the whole game. You've got people doing trade runs, and they pick up 200,000 UECs worth of cargo, and then they get 30k and lose everything. This is a common complaint that you see on, especially Twitter. You see this a lot. But that's just the nature of the game at the moment. You're just gonna have to, if you want to play the game, then just take it on the chin and carry on.
Yeah. And bounty markers. I kind of agree with this. It seems a bit of an old mechanic, and he says that here. It's the mechanic of when you're coming in to get your bounty, they essentially have a marker above the head that basically says, I'm here, which just is kind of easy mode for bounty hunting, because it gives an example. I'm not going to read the whole thing, I've done that too many times now, but essentially he was able to pinpoint this dude in the dark with a sniper rifle, and the guy had no idea where he was because he doesn't have a marker, but you know, his quarry as a bounty has a marker above his head, you know, so it's a really weird thing to still have, and I know obviously they're probably still working on it, but he has an example here where maybe they could like you enter the area of the bounty and then it says, you know, you need to investigate. How do you think that they would do that, though? How would you not shoot the wrong person, etc., you know?
Well, that would be kind of part of the gameplay, wouldn't it? Because if they go into like a crowded area and then you've got to actually find them amongst the crowd, then that's part of the gameplay, rather than just, you know, oh, he's there, I'll shoot him, damn, he's dead, he goes to prison, I get my money, job done. Instead of that, you actually have to try and, you know, figure out who this person is, you know, judging by his armour. I don't know, maybe, you know, if it becomes too difficult. So, say for example, he's kind of wandering around Area 18. There's loads of people and loads of NPCs. Just say for argument's sake, you can shoot people there. I know you can't, but let's just say you can. So, you're looking for this criminal, but you're not sure exactly who he is. So maybe you have to go and do some extra gameplay of some description to, you know, get some more details about this criminal that you're going for. You know, his favourite ship could be in a manifest log somewhere. So you go find that. You track down which ship he likes to fly around in. You somehow manage to figure out which hangar that ship is stored in, and then you can wait there for him. Or I know you figure out that he's part of some kind of criminal organisation, and he's got an emblem on his armour, and then you can go back and try and look for that emblem, who's walking around with that sort of thing. So that they could do it a bunch of ways. Obviously, it becomes a lot more easier if he's a mining outpost and he's the only person there. Then, you know, it's obvious. But still, it would be good if there was a kind of like a proximity. So you follow the marker to an area, and then you have to scan down the area, or actually physically get out your ship and hunt around for him because he's in a cave, or you know, there's so many ways that could work in the future. But I mean, we're talking like long-term future goals for bounty hunter gameplay, and it's going to be a long time until we get that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, miles off. But definitely would be awesome to have a little bit more gameplay involving, rather than just found him, he's dead, money. Being able to actually, you know, sort of have something to do that moves you closer to your bounty rather than just going to him. It's a bit too easy. I like the idea actually of like maybe having like little mini submissions that where you start picking up little clues, like even silly little thing. Let's just say, like, I don't know, everyone has some sort of biosignature or something daft, and you can you can find that, and then you can use a scanner to actually find him in a crowd. You know, stupid things like that. It's just there's a million cool ideas that could make that really fun, and I do hope that they go down that route and don't just go, it's good enough.
Well, they kind of likened the bounty hunter gameplay to they were going to try and mimic what's that program I was watching on Disney Plus, Mandalorian.
Hannah Montana.
No.
Oh, right.
Mandalorian. So there's this, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a really good show, and I like when they say they're going to try and model the bounty hunter gameplay on the Mandalorian. That's great, but there's one problem with that. In the Mandalorian, they have this stupid device. It's like a tracker. So the bounty hunter goes and picks up his contract, and he gets given this tracker, and the tracker leads them exactly where they are.
That's crazy.
Which is basically what we've got in game at the moment, and it's ridiculous because how did you get that tracker on the target? How did that happen?
Is everyone tracked from birth? What?
Yeah. It made no sense, and it was my only gripe with the show. So hopefully they don't do that, and they go for something a bit more interesting, like Moist Noodles suggesting here.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Okay, so next up we've got a post from Galactic Raz, or at Care Bear Cosmic Hugs, which I love more. That's brilliant. And it says, PvP adds value to your gameplay, whether you like it or not. So I won't read the whole thing, but I'll give you kind of an overview. So there's currently a war going on in EVE Online, which, if you don't know, EVE Online is a huge space game with... It's essentially kind of... I don't want to say poor man Star Citizen, because it's a vastly superior game at the moment as far as its mechanics and its economy and all that stuff goes. It's an incredible game, but it's a little bit old fashioned now, I would say, but it's a brilliant game, and it has a player built economy, and so people can genuinely like ruin other players using war as a strategy to just like cut them off from resources, and so you get these huge fleets of what are they called in EVE? Corporations?
Yeah.
And they essentially just like trade block entire areas of space, and so that these people can't do their day to day. They get poor and they die. It's awesome. It's a brilliant idea. And so what he's saying is that PvP isn't necessarily just the guys at the front shooting the other guys at the front. You've got so much more to it. PvP creates opportunities for other people in the background, mining, trading, taking ships to the front line, all these different things, construction and all this stuff. Definitely worth reading the whole post, but it brings up that point that PvP is an essential part of any game that wants to have a realistic world, because if you were to limit PvP, you essentially you add almost like a net nanny over your game. Do you know what I mean? And you lose that realism. PvP is needed in order to have that adrenaline rush when you go through somewhere you shouldn't be. It's dangerous. That kind of feeling. Zero Space in EVE, when we were mining in Zero Space, and we were basically just out in the middle of nowhere, and if any corporation decided to just pop in, we'd be ruined. And it was exciting. And I'd hate to lose that. So yeah, he's absolutely right. I think, in my opinion, PvP is definitely needed. Yeah,
in terms of EVE, it's a big factor, because basically the whole game is PvP based. You can do some missions to get some mods and weapons and ammo and whatever you want, but essentially that gets sold if you're not using it. And it's usually the PvPers that buy that up off the market and use it in PvP. So having this player-driven economy where everything is made or traded by players, it works so well in EVE. Yeah. There is a slight issue with this in Star Citizen though, because as far as I'm aware, the economy in Star Citizen is not fully player-driven. Because there's going to be NPCs flying around doing things, making things, if production ever becomes a thing in this game. I'm skeptical about whether it actually will or not. But yeah, it's not a full player-driven economy. So I'm not sure how it's going to stand up completely yet. And to be honest, I don't even think CIG know exactly how the economy is going to work yet.
No, definitely not. I mean, they've got that whole idea. We watched that awesome dude, I can never remember his name, do his kind of economy lecture at CitizenCon, and it was very interesting, and you kind of see the behind the scenes, the inner workings. But I think one thing that they don't want to do, they don't want to copy EVE. No one does, because it's immediately transparent that you've copied EVE, because EVE works perfectly. So I think what they want to do is get something that's in between. So you've got this kind of partial player-led economy, where we kind of add to the economy, but the economy will always run in the background because the AI will keep it running. So you won't have huge crashes, and I don't think you'd be able to do what you can in Eve, where you essentially cripple people in the wallet. I don't think you'll be able to do that because you can just go somewhere else and the economy is still working. So I think it's not the best comparison between Eve and Star Citizen because they're vastly different. But I do hope that in Star Citizen you can, and you will be able to effectively hold areas, which will kind of be like a mini Eve, when you basically say, I'm not going to let anyone mine from this particular belt, which is a resource rich belt. You know what I mean? And stuff like that, and blockade. I hope you can still kind of get away with doing that and affecting the outcome of other players' games, but not in a douchey way. That's just it's just what you would do if you were a large fleet, and you had the power to do it. I hope that is a thing in Star Citizen in the future because it'll make me very happy. Cool, so last up we've got a post from Gorgon the Destroyer, and it says, valid gameplay loops versus Star Citizen's community culture. This is a wall of text, so if you've got the energy, read it. If not, essentially what Gorgon the Destroyer is saying is there's a lot of moaning at the moment in the Star Citizen community that there are no gameplay loops available to us. And what he's saying is outside of mission systems, because obviously the missions themselves is a gameplay loop, you've also got mining, cargo running, piracy of stolen cargo, you've got prison transport, you've got escorts, you've also got medic. I like I like the way he explains medic. Basically, you're hiring out your ship's medical bay for people doing missions where they're going to die, which is cool. That's a good idea. So, I mean, he is right. There are game loops in this game. There's plenty to do. The problem is that they're not vast enough. And so when you play this game a lot, you're eventually going to get bored of these 6 gameplay loops you've got that only last an hour or 2. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah, you got it bang on there, basically. The argument isn't that there's no gameplay loops. There are a few gameplay loops, and there's things you can just kind of make up on the fly, like his, renting out your medical bay as a spawn point for people doing bunker missions or whatever. There is things like that you can do. The problem is that there's just not much to them right now. And we want to see a bit more depth with the ones that we've got, and we'd also like to see tier 0 of the ones that we've been waiting for 3 years for.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that the ones that people are waiting for are the big ones, and the problem that we've got is that the smaller loops that we've got, which are cool, and there are things to do in the game, but we want these bigger loops because those loops involve our ships, and that's what people want. They want to be salvaging, they want to be refueling, they want to be doing things with the ships they spent a lot of money on. I think that's the problem, that when people say there are no loops, I think what they're really getting at is there are no loops that genuinely involve their expensive ship they purchased. Yeah, that's my thought anyway. I mean, he kind of goes on a little bit to say, that we all struggle, we all have 30Ks, we all have guns that don't work, blah 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 blah. And he's kind of saying, Star Citizen's community is supposed to be better. We're not Eve, we're not Elite, although I don't think that's fair because I quite enjoy the Eve players. Stop blaming your frustrations on people struggling just as hard as you to enjoy the game. That's not what I read from this. I didn't realise that we were complaining about other people. I thought we were complaining about game loops. So I get a little confused near the end here. But I mean, I see his point. But I think that there's too much we're waiting for, and there's just not quite enough to what we've got at the moment to hold everyone's attention, basically. Yeah, we're so far into the project now that we would, by this point, we were hoping to have tier 0 of all of the game loops, so we could, test everything. But we're still at about, I don't know what, 50%, or I guess about 50% of tier 0 stuff. Might even be less than that. Probably. Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, I apologise to everyone if it sounds like I'm just rambling on. I'm incredibly tired this evening, and I've also losing my voice a little bit, so you'll have to bear with me if I sound a little bit away with the fairies. But I think that this is, again, like I've said, it is a valid point, and Gorgon the Destroyer, we're not trying to rip you down or anything like that. I just think that we have to be a bit careful when we point at the community and say you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're not. None of us are wrong because it's all our opinions. I think the way to look at it is, like you've done, you've pointed out things people can do, but you've got to assume by now, after the years we've been playing this game, we've done those to death. So essentially what we're saying is we just need something new that can wet our lips for a while, you know. I think that's fair to ask.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is all the posts for this week. We hope you liked them. We hope you found them informative or amusing. If you did like them, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And don't forget to jump into that comment section and let us know your thoughts on these posts. We always like to read them. We may not respond to everyone, but we do read them all. So yeah, get in there and comment. And don't forget to keep your eyes open at the weekend for another giveaway. So we should announce that hopefully on Sunday. And fingers crossed, Sky Stalker, I think his name was, comes forwards and claims his prize. If not, it's going to one of you lucky buggers. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. But I think that is pretty much it. So yeah, don't forget to check out our streams on Thursdays and sometimes on Tuesdays. Sign up to our Discord because we love to talk to you. And now it is time to stream. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
He's fucking got a gun!